Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Miyuki and this is Let's Make Art, and we letter a new project every week together. And this is our last project of our spring box, but if you're just joining us and this is your first time, welcome. We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, we are.
And you can watch any of the projects from here on out or go in the past, but still join us for this one. It's going to be fun. So this one, I didn't do the holding it up. Oh, Keenan tried to teach me the false. Is that your falsetto?
Yeah, that was falsetto. Yeah, that was it.
So this project we're doing, it's called Focus on the Good, or that's the quote that I'm doing. And so for this one, it's all about putting everything together that we've learned and also just thinking and focusing on the good things in your life and the sweet things. So as we're going through this, just keep thinking of different words that you want to add to your project. But for the supplies that we're going to be using, I'm going to be using the Tombow dual brush pens. And these, if you have our box or if you want to get it, you'll have all of these supplies in there. But if you want to use any other brush pens that you have, please go for it. Choose your own colors, whatever strikes your fancy, use it. But what I'm going to be using for this one is, the first one is 528, and this is navy blue. Then 533, this is peacock blue. It's a really pretty, it's like a periwinkle color. I think I've said that.
It looks so soft.
It is. Look.
It's like a soft blue.
Soft color. It is blue. Yeah, it is peacock blue. This, do you remember this color, Keenan? It has a strong name.
I want to say Imperial purple.
Good job.
Yes.
So those are the three colors that we're going to be using. The paper that I'm going to be using for the final project is Bristol paper. So Bristol paper is essentially a thicker cardstock that's really smooth, but you can use any other paper that you want. If you like watercolor paper, maybe just have one that's not as textured and use the back of it. But just have a little bit thicker cardstock paper. Pencil, pen, the practice sheets that are in, if you have our kit with us or our box, they're in there, or you can download them on our website, letsmakeart.com, and find this project. And you can
$3.99.
Oh yeah, for free. 99.
99.
Okay, so this is the final project. Oh, I got ahead of myself. Well, it's okay, we can stay here. We're gonna be doing 5 steps in this project. So the first one is we're going to work on the practice worksheet that we have, and we're gonna practice some of the letters from the quote. The second step is we're going to be doing thumbnail sketches. So thumbnail sketches, I've talked about it a few times, but it's essentially a smaller version of your bigger project with all of the ideas that we can possibly think of to get that on the paper. So that's the second step we're going to go through. The third one is the pencil layout. So for that one, we're going to be using this as your layout. So you can see that this is what I used to get to the final step. So that's our third step, is creating our layout. The fourth step is the brush pens. And then the fifth one is I'm going to show how you can add a shadow and then some little fun details around that. So those are the 5 different steps. 1, let's start with your practicing. So pick a color that you'd like to use. And what I'd like you to focus on while we write focus
Play of words.
is you'll notice that there's little arrows. Each arrow marks a different stroke. So what's a little bit different about lettering than your handwriting is that I don't want you to write really fast. You don't have to write super slow, but what I ask you to do is try and be mindful and pick up your hand after each stroke. So for the first one, what you can do is you can trace over the lighter gray one. So what I'm doing is I'm going thin on the up, and then I'm pushing harder and going thick on the down, and then thin on the up. So I did that all in one stroke, and then this is another stroke. So what you're gonna be thinking about is when you're going thick on the down, if you notice, I'm gonna be pushing hard and I'm using the belly of the brush, so the thicker part, and then I'm getting to the thin. Okay, we're gonna do the C. So when you're doing this, you're gonna go thin on the up, thick on the down, thin on the up, and you notice that I didn't move my hand, I'm just playing with pressure. Okay, so with a U, you'll notice that there's 2 different arrows. So what I'd like you to do is take the first stroke and you draw thick on the down, thin on the up, and then lift up to start yourself again, and then draw the second half of the U. The other thing that you'll notice is that when I drew this stroke, I drew the end of it, which is called the exit stroke. I had it extend all the way into the top of the S, so it started me out rather than ending right here. So that way, let me show you. If I were to do it and stop there, what happens is that if you were to start the next stroke, it just might not be the same distance or the same thickness of it. So by extending this and just taking this all in one stroke, it'll help you guide you into the next stroke and then continue on. So then I'll finish this off. So that's focus. So there's areas for you to practice as well on your own. So I'll do a couple more. I'll just finish doing this one. A couple things. If this is your first time doing this with us, I want you to think about the angle of your paper. So you'll notice that my paper is a little bit angled to the left because I'm right-handed, so this way. Rather, if you're left-handed, which I'm gonna show. Guess what, Keenan?
What?
I can write left-handed, sort
No
of.
way.
I've been trying. If you're a part of our Facebook group, it's called Let's Make Art Lettering. There's been a few of us, and Heidi, who works with us, is left-handed, and she's been challenged, or I was challenging myself, but I really want to get left-handed because I understand that it's a little bit different. So what I found, I'm gonna do this left-handed. What I found is that if I angle my paper a little bit to the left, or to the right this time, and whether you're right-handed or left-handed, a couple things I want you to think about is the angle that you're attacking the letter. So if I'm like this, instead of writing from the bottom, if you were to write from the bottom, that's a lot harder to do in O. Rather, if you come from the side, it'll be easier for you. So those are a couple things that you can experiment with. So what I found when I'm trying to write left-handed is that I tend to come a little bit, this is gonna throw you all off.
It's okay.
Okay, for the cameras. You can just do overhead for these ones.
We'll have to do
Okay, okay. Is if I come a little bit from the top of it, then it will help me. Need to get myself set up. Thick on the down, thin on the up. I'm still a little shaky, but I'm trying. I messed up. Oh well, it's okay, I'm gonna keep going. This is practice. So what I was saying was that if I come a little bit from the side / top, whoops. So thin on the up, thick on the down. I bet you can't even see what I'm doing. Oh well, I'm gonna keep going. So what I was saying was practice with, if I were to draw from the bottom and be an underwriter, I just wouldn't be able to get as thick of a line here, and your curve might be a little bottom heavy at the bottom. So if you come a little bit from the side, the other thing you can experiment with, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, is you can experiment with the angle that you're holding it. So if you notice I'm at this angle here, but if I need to hike up a little bit higher, whether it's hiking up higher on the actual brush pen, but also hiking up a little bit higher on the angle, ooh, my hands are a little clammy right now, is you can glide a little bit easier. Ooh, that was a good stroke. Thin on the up, thick on the down. Thin on the up, thick on the down. Ooh, look at that E. Well, the end of it is a little funky.
The HE look great.
It's because I had to warm up a little.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is to show you that I also wanted to be left-handed because I know if this is your first time or you're new to this, you might not glide as easy as I do. One, I've been doing this for a while, so one, don't judge yourself against me. But then the second thing is you have to gain this momentum, and it's like swimming, or it's like swimming. It's like riding a bike. You're not gonna be good at the first time you do it, but if you practice and keep going with it and create that muscle memory, your body will start to get used to it, your hand will start to get used to it. So it's not a time frame, but know that if you're shaky, that's why these are good to practice, to start to gain that confidence, one, and then also two, is to gain that that muscle memory that your body will get used to. So I'll do this last one with my right hand.
First time I rode a bike, I hit a tree.
And then what was your second time? You told me that it takes you 3 times to learn things. So I hope you tried 2 more times.
Don't remember, it was terrifying. It was right next to a giant downhill. It was so scary.
Can you ride a bike now?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a good time.
Okay, Keenan can ride a bike.
Good for you, Keenan.
But the first time, the moral of that story is the first time you didn't do well.
No, exactly.
It's okay. I'm glad you said that. Okay, so let's do the C. Also, I forgot to mention is we have a beginner lettering series on our YouTube and Facebook. And in that, you can see this download, and this has the foundation stroke. So you will notice the G, for example, is this C plus this J stroke. So when you're doing that, that's why there's 2 arrows, because I want you to do it slow and go thin on the up, thick on the down. Do that in 1 stroke, and then do this in a 2nd stroke. The O's, you can take it all in 1. So the O's, you can decide, do you want the loop or do you just want a small loop like that? Totally up to you. So same thing on the D, I'm gonna break it up. So it's a C plus the L. Like that. Okay, so like I said, there's other spaces that I would like you to practice to keep gaining that momentum. So practice that a little bit more. Then, step 2, we're gonna go through thumbnail sketches. So for this, you can do this quote. You also can do any other quote that you'd like. But what I would like you to do and what will help is for this one is we're gonna figure out the layout of this. So you can just write it out really quickly, but what will help is if you get your ideas out, it will help you see which option you like. So if your quote is focus on the good, write that out. What I'd like you to think about now is how can you experiment with the words that you have? Because the thing with lettering that's a little bit different than any other craft is that you're always gonna have different set of letters. So it's not a perfect formula that I can teach you. It's training your eye to see what you have. It's like, I was gonna say making lemons out of lemonade, but that's saying you have something bad and then you make it something good.
Making lemonade out of lemons.
Gosh, wow. Did I do it again?
That's the third.
I have been, oh my gosh, I did that on camera. I don't know if you guys heard that.
That's not the first time you've said a great quote backwards. It's okay.
Yeah, apparently I'm dyslexic with quotes. Man, okay. Anyways, what was I trying to say? I lost my focus. Whatever, I'm just gonna keep going. Forget everything I just said. Okay, what I want you to do, well, I'm so thrown off right now. I want you to experiment with what you have. So, see if what the layout would look like if you have all of the letters on, or all of each word on its own line. So focus on the good. So you can see like that. What if I notice that on and the are 2 smaller words? So what if focus on the good? We did it with there's 3 lines. And so you notice I'm writing them super fast. You might not even be able to read my scribbles or my handwriting. All you're trying to do is just figure out the layout of it. What else can I do? Oh, I can experiment. So this, I naturally just did a capital F. What if you do a lowercase f? Focus on the good. Or what if I take this and I do 3? Focus on the good. That's cool. Or, so then once I do that, the other thing that I'm looking at, which is why I was saying that you have to get everything out on the paper and see what letters you have that you're working with. So I noticed that my F comes really low, so it descends into the next line. And then actually this D, I realized, can go higher since the D has an ascending part, so it goes higher than your other letters. So what if I take that even further? Let me write it a little bit nicer. Focus. So then on the, I'm gonna try and fit it perfectly in here. On the, and then good. So I realized if I move this over just a tad bit more and I have my D come up into here, like that, then it kind of hugs it in, end caps it, whatever you want to call it. What would you say? Bookend.
That's actually what I was just about to say.
Really?
Yeah. Bookends.
Same wavelength. Okay. Bookends, that's what your F, the bottom of your F and the top of your D do. So that's what I gained through going through this experiment of getting all my thumbnail sketches out. The other thing that I realized is that I also have, my eye sees this space right here. So another good lesson to, or video project to go through is the bloom where you're planted. And in that one, I went over flourishes. So you can experiment with different flourishes and see where you can add them. So one of them I noticed is I have this spot right here. So if I just break up my G and create a little home right there, then I can fill it there. So I really like this one. So then what I did from here was I had to make it bigger. And so what I did for you guys is I made this layout. So like I said, if you don't have our quarterly subscription box, you can get this from our website and then find the project, Focus on the Good, and you can download this to help you get you started. So for this, what I made is different boxes. So this is step 3. So this is your pencil layout. When I do this, I added this space that you can see where your F can go. Is I'm just gonna do this, this is really big. I'm just gonna do this in pencil first. Oh, little eyelash. And you can decide if you want your lettering to be angled or do you want your lettering to be straight. I think I'm gonna mix it up and just show you guys another thing that you can do if you wanna make it angled. So, where is that one? This is another handout that is on the Start Wishing, Stop Doing project. So if you wanna make your lines angled, this is a good sheet to practice with. But for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mix it up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give myself some guidelines. And I'm just going to draw angled lines similar. Maybe I'll mix it up. I'll make this one straight up and down. Excuse me. And then these angled. So I'm just drawing a guideline so all my lettering are at that angle. So when I sketch them out, the lines are going to be parallel to it. And then what that would mean is this guy kind of comes in and then comes in this way. So I might angle this a little bit more. So you can see that way the F is angled as well. So let me erase that. So if it helps you, what you can also do is you can draw yourself a line. So this is called your X height or your waist. It's also called a waistline, but it's essentially where your smaller letters will hit. So if you want to do that, you can draw a guideline for yourself there. But you also, I want to show you, is you don't have to follow it exactly, and maybe your O, maybe not that small, is a little bit smaller. So you can experiment with changing up the sizing of your letters. So that way, and I want to explain this, is that this is so much bigger than you're probably used to drawing, because you're used to drawing your letters or writing your letters really small, or at like writing notes to yourself. So this is why this is actually a lot more of sketching your letters and drawing them rather than writing them, because you're seeing it as different strokes and you're sketching them. I just wanted to explain that really quickly. So what you can also do is if you want to mix it up, maybe on the is in your block print that you do. You also don't have to do script all the time, but I'm just going to show that since I did that on the final one. So in this space, let's see if I draw myself a little guideline. So I'm going to mix it up. So I also realized that on the, this is another way that you can connect your T to your H. So when I'm looking at this, is I made my on too big, and so I ran out of room for my the. So I'm just gonna erase it. So that's what this time is for. This time is to draw it out and then fix if something bothers you. So I just need to know I can't draw it that wide. So there, that fits a little bit better. So focus on the good. So with the good, what you can do here is, I drew this really big, and what I was thinking when I was doing this is that your descender, so the bottom of your D can also fit in this space. Because if I were to use this entire space for my G, I didn't do that very dark, so I don't know if they can see that, but that is a really big good. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the baseline, so the bottom, and do it right here. So that makes it about a similar sizing. So let's see, I need to add in my guidelines for the angled. And then, so the G can fit in here. Whoa, I just made that really big actually. What I wanted to do was make it like that, but I just, well, coloring outside the lines.
That looks awesome.
Okay, cool, thanks. So this is just a guideline to start you. But what I realized is that if I have two O's, those are I need to either draw really big O's, or my D is going to hit my if I were to do it the similar size. So guess what you can do? I have another handout for you guys. This, I'm just referencing anything. We learned a lot. I'm just gonna reference everything. Hopefully that's okay.
There has been a lot of learning.
It's been a lot of love.
A lot of love.
I don't know why that came to me. It's 'cause anyways, okay, focus. This is from the One of a Kind project, and on that one we were talking about shapes of letters. So this is a handout that you can get from that project, and you'll notice that I drew the ABCs, and this is more circular and these are more oval. So the reason why I brought that up is that my first G that I drew was more, I would say that's more oval. So what I could do when I drew, so I would say my focus is more ovaled, but we're just gonna mix it up just to show you guys all the different options. So I need to consciously think about, and when I draw this, I'm gonna make my G a little bit more circular. So you can even draw yourself more of a circle if that helps. G. Ooh, that's really wide. They don't have to be exact circles, just more circular than I did before. Well, we're just gonna go outside the lines. Focus on the good. So I'm gonna need to move this over a little bit. These are all pretty similar. There you go. So these are a little bit more, I would say it's a wider oval. What would you call that?
Other than oval? I don't know what I would call it.
It's a squished, yeah. It's not as squished, so if you look just at this guy and you look at this guy, you'll notice that this one's more oval and this one's just a little bit wider. So it's more circular. So these are two different styles. In addition to these are angled, and this is straight up and down. So that was a lot in one setting, but that's an exciting thing is there's so many different styles you can do. You don't have to do the same exact thing as me. So I'm excited to see other people's. Okay, step 3. Step 4, now it's time to do the brush pens. In between 4.5, 3.5. Am I on? Yeah.
3.2.
Is what I would suggest doing is Sharpie, a dark marker. Actually, you can also practice with your purple guy because it's thicker, which I'll do both. What I would like you to do is draw on this with a darker color pen. It doesn't matter what it is. This is just to use on our light box, which you'll see, so it's helping you. And this is also great practice, so I should just use the brush pen. But what I'd like you to do is, ooh, that noise. Can you hear it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna do it a little bit fast. So you can either do it that or whichever's easier for you. But I just want you to go over it. Then, okay, now we're going to use the light box. So, Keenan, can you hand me, yeah, that blue tape? Or I can get it.
Yes, I can.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thank you, sir. This is a step that you don't have to do, and if you don't have a light box, all these past projects are in here. You don't have to do this if you want to freehand and do it on your own. That is amazing, and you can 100% do that. But if it freaks you out a little bit to do that on the final one, this is the step that I suggest doing. And this is what I like to do when I have final bigger projects, when I'm not just practicing. So this is blue painter's tape. You just need removable tape. And so this, I'm just gonna tape it to my light box. And so you'll notice that this paper is 8.5 by 11 because this was just on computer paper. And the Bristol paper is 9 by 12.
No.
Hi, Siri.
You said.
What did I say?
You said its name.
I said her name? Oh.
Roth changed its name.
Okay, I won't say it anymore. I said that? I don't remember saying that.
You said this is on computer paper.
Oh, okay. So, I don't even know what I was saying. I'm sorry, guys. I'll just.
You were talking about the different papers, how the 8.5 sheet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
8.5. Bristol paper is 9 by 12. So, what's cool is that even if you were to do your own sketch and you didn't use the layout, what's nice is that you can move your, well, I already taped mine down, but you can move your final paper to be wherever you want. So maybe you want your quote all the way in the corner, so you just move your paper up, so you can shift it. Okay, we're going to do the fourth step, which is your brush pens. So pick any color that you'd like. I'm going to do the darker blue, so the navy, the 528, and I can see my quote underneath. And so that is the cool thing, because now I'm just gonna trace. And that way I don't have to think about anything. When you're doing this, because this is such a big letter, you can experiment. Actually, what I would suggest to do before we go to the final one is, because it's so big, experiment if your hand, typically when I draw, my hand is stationary. However, if that doesn't feel natural to you, what you can experiment with is, do you feel more comfortable moving your wrist? So if you notice my whole, it's this versus this. Experiment. Everyone is going to be different with what's comfortable with you, so experiment with which one you like to do. Let's see what I naturally am going to do. Yeah, I naturally stay still. So also what you could do, if you want to do that in one stroke and then lift up, what you can then do is kind of overlap and then do that all. I'm just going to do this all in one stroke. You will notice on that thick down, I'm pressing pretty hard and you can hear the pen making noise. But you can dictate how thick you want this to be, because the other thing is that pens are really flexible. So, or compared to other pens, actually this is in the range of, there's some pens that you might notice that are a lot more flexible, so it paints, or it writes like a paintbrush, whereas these are more in the middle. I thought you were looking at me.
Oh, you're good.
So what I was gonna say is that you can dictate how thick you want this line to be. So if you want just a medium-sized stroke, just apply a medium-sized pressure. If you want a really thick guy, whoa. I thought I almost bled through.
That looks cool.
So you can dictate how thick you want. So you can experiment with how thin you can get, and then maybe you go and you get really thick. So that's the beauty of this pen, is that there's a lot of range that you can use to create with. So maybe I'll do the good as thick as I can. So I'm applying a good amount of pressure, but I can probably apply more. So thick on the down, thin on the up. Take it slow and take it stroke by stroke. So again, I'm gonna do the first part of my S and go all the way up. Finish it out. Okay, so on the, I'm gonna experiment. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm using the same pen, but I'm gonna apply a little bit less pressure to create a little bit thinner line, but still have it thicker than my thin upstrokes. So what I mean by that is I'm gonna apply medium pressure, but then really light pressure here. So medium. So you'll notice that, especially compared to here, my thick downstroke is actually similar to the thin of this one. So that's one of the reasons why I love this pen. Thick on the down. So again, stroke by stroke. Well, that got really squished, but it's all good. Okay, keep going. Good, so I'm gonna show how you can get really thick lines. So what you can also experiment with is, like I said in the beginning, is playing with the angle of your hand when you're lettering. If you want to get the maximum amount of thickness of this stroke, what you want to do is angle your hand a little bit more at this angle rather than more straight up and down, because then you can really get the belly of this. So I'm gonna angle my hand a little bit more and do the first part. So you can get a really thick stroke. So thick. Then I'm actually going to do this and stop here. So I know I have this bottom, but what I also know is that I don't want my hand to kind of smudge it, so I'm gonna wait and do that after. I also realized, so what I'm looking at, if you guys can see, is my O when I drew it, probably because I drew my thick, the second part of my G so thick, is that it runs really close to my O. So two things is, if you want, well, I was gonna say you could move it over. I'm just gonna be conscious about it, and I'm gonna move this over just a tad in my brain. I'm still gonna get a thick. I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller. So I just had to move it over a little bit so it didn't get too close. Oh man, can you see the coloring on that?
Yes. Every time you come down on that, it shows, like you can see that every time it skips and makes that noise, you see the lines immediately, but then it fades into itself.
That's so cool.
It's really cool.
I was noticing that. So, oh gosh, it's because these pens are so juicy, and so you can tell when I'm pressing my hardest. And yeah, it kind of gradually, it looks like watercolor. Well, these are water-based. I'm gonna keep going. Keep losing. I get sidetracked. Then on the up, press really hard. Yeah, dang. Okay, so again, take it in two strokes. So a C, and then here's a really long stroke. So again, you can either choose, maybe you do it all in once, and I'm gonna overlap a little bit. Focus on the good. So it's slightly different, but the good, so my thick downstrokes are just a little bit thicker than that, and definitely thicker than this guy. Oh, I can't forget to finish out. So overlap. So that one I decided I didn't keep my hand stationary and I just glided with it. Okay. Now, for the fun part. All of these words, you don't need to read them all. These are just words that came to my mind.
Some of my favorite words on the example are feelings and bananas.
It says
feeling bananas.
Feeling bananas. I wrote feeling small, but then I wrote bananas next to it. So it's up for interpretation. So the cool thing about this is, what I'd like you to think about, like I said in the beginning, is think about words or things in your life that you feel good about, that makes you feel good. So for me, I wrote, did you see green tea?
No, I did not.
Green tea, the beach, art, unicorns. That is not a personal thing. That's just, but my little girl loves unicorns. Anyway, anyways, the little girl I mentor. I don't have a daughter. Okay. Anyways, so what I thought would be fun is Keenan is going to help me, because you guys will see it live. I guess kind of live. Anyways, is I'm going to come up with words that remind me of this Let's Make Art community that we have here. So what you can do is you can either write yourself a list of the words for you, the things that bring you joy or that feel good that are around you. So you can either write a list if you'd like, but I'm just going to do them as you throw out words at me. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool. I'll
Okay.
try and do my best. It's not just going to be me, though.
Who else is in this room?
I have multiple personalities.
Oh, you could do them in different voices for me.
Oh, I could just throw out different things.
Okay, you can do that. Well, the first one that came to my mind was community, so I'm going to write community. What I'd like you to do is, if you can experiment, if you have a really long word, maybe I choose to do it in this space, you can completely experiment with size. The great thing about this is it doesn't. You have so many words and it's all one color, or you can experiment with different colors, but no one is focusing on how good your lettering is for each single word. So give yourself a break and you can breathe and just go for it. So I am using a separate paper as a guard because my hands tend to get a little clammy, like I said, so I don't want to smear. It's all good, it's normal, I don't feel weird. Okay, community. So you can either do it in pencil first, or you can also, wow, I need to make sure I spell this right and not talk.
2 M's.
U-N. So I'm taking it stroke by stroke, so you'll notice.
Can you pull that down a little bit?
Yes, I can. Wow, I wrote that really big. Well, all good. Community.
Nice.
We'll switch off. C-O-M-M-U-N-I. Okay, your turn.
I really want to say bananas.
Why?
Because it cracks me up. But the first word I was thinking of when it comes to the community is the creativity within the community.
Love it. Okay, creativity. So I'm going to show you. I naturally drew this. If you look at this straight up and down, I naturally drew this angled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw and show you creativity, but I'm going to draw it more straight up and down. So let's draw it right here. Creativity. So the other thing is this helps train you. Can I fit this whole word in this spot? And I can. I just need to not write it so big like I probably might naturally do. See? So my downstrokes are going to be more straight up and down than these guys that are more angled. Then I also realized I'm just going to show you, you can break up the words. T. Maybe this Y goes all the way into that space.
That's cool.
Yeah, fill it up. So let's just fill this up. Play with the different things you got. Creativity. Okay, spelled it right. Okay, let's see. I'll do another one. I'm gonna write, I was gonna say llamas.
Yeah, do llamas.
In honor
I had
of
a dream that I woke up from because I was concerned that I couldn't write the letter L.
You know, you told me. Well, now you can see me write it. Well, were you trying to do a cursive L or?
Yeah, I was just like, I couldn't think of it.
Okay. Actually, there's a few L names in our group. I know Linda was one of them, and we were trying, maybe that's why you saw the live or something. It was just in your brain. Okay, I'll do a cursive L. So I'm gonna do this, I don't know, I like this little home for, I was about to write Linda. Llamas. So, L, that's how you do a cursive L. I did it all in one stroke. You can break it up if you'd like. L, yeah. A-M-A-S. Oh man, this is gonna be a fun video. Please, is that right?
Yeah.
You didn't respond, so I wasn't sure.
No, you're right. That's good. There might be 3 M's in that word. I have no idea.
Okay, keep going. I swear I was good at spelling. It actually was my favorite subject, but anyways, llamas, your turn.
Okay. I keep trying to think of different projects that we've done that have left an impression on me somehow.
Oh, I like that.
Ooh, what about impression?
Okay, yeah.
That's a good word.
That's a long word.
Or we could do kind.
We'll do both.
Okay.
Go from impressions to kind. Okay, when you said impressions, I thought I have all this space here. But I want to show you is you can also write, like I said, with just a block font. So I'll write impressions with the block font, but I'm still going to use my brush pen. So I'm still going to think about thick on the down, but you can play with, I do my M's like that usually. Oops, I need to not run out of room. Okay, so I need to make my letters a little bit skinnier. So thick on the down, so I'm still playing with this cool brush. Impression. Well, just one impression. I don't remember if you said impressions or impression. Okay, kind. Let's see.
I have another one ready too.
Okay, sweet. I'm trying to think what space I want to fill. So maybe kind, the K can fit really cool right there. So what you can also, well, I'll show it in a different example. So on the K, I'm going to angle this a little bit. The K is interesting because we've done the K a couple times. Oh, and the One of a Kind project. And Keenan. So the K, you're going in this awkward direction because no other letter do you really go like that. It's such a weird angle. So what you can do is you can play with, let me show you really quickly. I'm drawing normally like that. I tend to shift my hand a little bit to like that. So I went from this to this because it helps me draw that stroke easier. That's all a personal preference, but maybe experiment with that and see what helps a little bit, because I know that that's an awkward stroke for some people. So I just rotate my hand ever so slightly. So if I started here, instead of doing it right away, I just shift my hands really slightly. I like to do a K or a loop in my K. Kind.
That's cool.
Kind. So it kind of fits there. What was your other one?
So the other word I was thinking of was example.
Oh.
Because I like how there are different examples of kindness in the community.
Such a good one. Okay, example. I'm gonna fit it right here. So what I was going to say is, well, let's see. Yeah. So if I were to think about the shapes of the letters like I was talking about, I can either make this one wider. I think I can fit it. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna purposely make my letters a little bit circular to fit in this space. Let's see, maybe I'll do a E like this. So it has more of a rounded shape. Oh, the X actually is the other one. So the X, you'll notice that that's kind of like the K, that same stroke. So that's the same thing as you can also go like that. The other thing that I've heard is that, I don't do this, but if you do the X and you go up, you can also experiment with that. I tend to just go up and then I do that same thing where I just shift my hand ever so slightly. You can decide which one maybe going up feels better for you. X, A, M. Well, I'm running out of room. It's okay. Example community. I made them, so those are a little bit more circular. Okay, let's keep going. Or should I just fast forward between this?
I mean, I've got a bunch of random words in my head.
Okay, go. I'll draw faster.
Perspective.
Oh. Okay. One thing is that if I know in my head perspective can 100% fit here, but the beauty of this layout is that it's all at different angles and it's mixed up. So if I were to draw two really big words right at the bottom, my eye might go directly to that, so I want to mix it up. So.
What if you did family?
Well, wait, I'll do both of them.
Well, if you wanted a smaller word at the bottom, so
Thank you.
Your eyes don't draw there to that spot.
Okay, so thank you. So what you can do is if you were to draw it at an angle, oh, I don't need this anymore.
Nice.
Okay. This is actually cool because there's all these little things I can teach you guys. Okay, so family. I really like that because this F can fit up into here and then I can continue on forward. So.
Family means Moana.
Where are you? You know you're saying that. You said that the other day and it's like, I don't know if he's serious. Okay, what I want to do is I'm going to think about this, and I see this little pocket where the L can fit. So in order to do that, family, F-A-M-I-L. So I have to fit 3 words before I fit the L here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch things up, and I'm going to make my lettering skinnier or more oval. So I'm making, you can look specifically at the M here and the M here. I made these ones more squished, so it's more oval. Oh, am I gonna make it? Barely. L. And then let's just fill up the space with this Y. Oh, hello, fly. Okay. Perspective was your other word. Well, now I need another, do you have any other short words?
Welcome.
Well, let's write perspective. Because I realized, it's such a long word, it doesn't really fit anywhere else. Welcome, I like that word though. Let's experiment and see if I draw, oh, here's something fun. Oh, well, you could draw it at a perspective. Should I do that? Make Sarah happy? Well, I don't know if, I'm gonna, so if you want to do this, you can just lightly sketch it in pencil. It's not really perspective, kind of. I'm going to mix, I'll just keep with, no. I'm using the other side of the brush pen. So there's 2 different sides. There's the brush pen side that we're used to, and this is just a felt tip pen. But if you want to mix it up as well, you can use that just to create a different look. Perspective.
That's super cool.
Wow, that was fun. Good word, Keenan. Welcome. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't go there. Welcome and kind. So I'm going to stick with this side, and I'm just going to make welcome a little bit smaller and fit it right here. Oh, okay. Well, it is again another small space, and if I were to write welcome with my more circular lettering, it will definitely not fit. So I'm going to make it skinnier, like that. Welcome.
Nice.
Whew, fit. Good words. I need to think of another word. Had creativity. Mindful. That is one thing we've been talking about with the lettering group, is to be more mindful about your strokes instead of just going on autopilot. So I'm going to write mindful. Need a couple more short words. Can you think of some short words while I write this?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I love mindful right here. Here's what my brain went to, is I have the F and it goes lower into this spot so it'll kind of fit in that space. I love it when things, this is a fun puzzle piecing part.
This is cool.
Experimenting and just going with it. Okay. Mind. So the F, ooh. So when you have an F, let's see what I want to do. So I want to show you is you can break an F and have it like that, and then the U will fit under that. Or, let's see, does this work? No. I was trying to think how I could go back that way. That doesn't really look right. So I'm going to stick with this and just overlap. So whenever you stop, just go back over and overlap a little bit. F, U. Oh, and look at that. The L fit right there.
Perfect.
Okay, keep going. Mindful. Your turn.
I can't think of small words.
I know. Well, okay, it's okay.
Small, I can think of like the, of, that, him, he, her, she, though.
I mean, there's girls and guys, I guess, in our group,
true.
but no. I'm gonna say joy.
Yeah.
That was my word of the year.
Yeah.
And this group is just so joyful. Okay.
What a great word.
Oh, you can play with. I'm just for time's sake and to keep going. Yeah, more for time's sake. And to show you a different thing. Joy, only 3 letters, but you can fill this whole space and you just stack them. So maybe I'll just do it in a block font. Get it really wide. Oh, my paper moved. Joy. Oh, I love that color. Okay. Joy, kind, fun.
Yeah, fun.
Another 3-letter word.
Yes.
Fun.
Offset stack.
What does that mean? Are you gonna teach me something?
I don't know. I thought about how you sketched perspective, and if you did similar boxes for each letter, but then put like the second letter in fun, the U, we'll call it,
Yeah.
in the middle of, below and in the middle of the letter.
In the middle and below the letter.
So then scoot over to the.
Oh, like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Did you just luck out that worked out like that?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Where am I gonna fit that?
I was thinking right here.
Oh, boom. I can't make that wide, so that's, sorry, I need to say what's going on in my brain. I couldn't make it that wide, so I'm just gonna make my letters more skinnier to fit in this space. Let's mix it up and do it well. It worked out perfectly. The reason why I said that is because the F, there's all this space right here. And you know what?
Boom. A little hat.
A little hard, or you could do a sun. Okay, so fun. And you know what else is fun? You can. So what I'm doing is on my thick downstrokes, so I'm just adding a little line there to mimic what it would look like. There we go. Okay, need to work a little bit faster. Fun. I was gonna say 3 more words.
A small happy on the corner.
Happy. This one?
Sure.
I'm going to, let's just write it right here. So I also realized I can talk about, since I did that, is faux calligraphy is essentially fake calligraphy. And like I said, is you could either leave I got a bubble. You can either leave the strokes open, your thick down strokes open, or what you can do is you can fill it in and make it look like you did it with a brush pen, even though you're doing it with this side. So this is cool if you just if you've Crayola regular pens, you can 100% create the same lettering. Happy, joy. What else do I love about this group? I said community growth. So much growth that is going on, and okay, this G fits very nicely right there.
Can you scoot your paper down for that one?
Yes.
Thank you.
So, oh yes, because I got excited because my T can fill that space. Okay.
Nice.
One more.
Learn.
Wow, good job. Learn. I'm going to just write it this way. L. Just do it in a block font. Okay. Let's do the same thing. So I'll do it one more time, the filigraphy. So I'm adding a thick downstroke or a thicker stroke to when my hand would be moving down. So on these guys, what's happening is if you have a circle, well, in this example, it's my R. What I don't want you to do, oops, is that better? Is don't just draw a straight line like that and color it in. Curve it out and make more of like a half moon shape. So it guides into it rather than a hard line. Learn. Okay, so we could keep going for days, but we're just gonna go with that. It's really cool actually to see both examples. So on this one, I came up with a whole bigger list of words, but it's cool because you can see the difference is that these are smaller and I filled up more space, and then these are bigger letters. So you can experiment. Do you like bigger letters? Maybe you just keep going in and I can fill in all these spots. But what you can also do, well, first I want to show you, I got ahead of myself. First, I want to show you the shadows. So you'll notice on this one, what I did that adds a little bit of pop is I added a shadow. So for this one, I mixed it up. Typically, when I've been doing the projects, I've been adding the shadow on the left side. So this time I'm going to draw it on the right side. So that means that my light source is coming from this side and it's hitting my letters and then casting a shadow to the other side. So when I'm doing that is I'm using my lighter, the Peacock blue color, and I'm just going to draw a line to the side of it. So it's a lighter color, so it's okay if you overlap a little bit onto your blue. And you can also decide how thick you want your shadow to be. So, oops, I need to add a little bit. So what I also did was I decided that I just wanted to add some other, it's kind of like it's a radio, the shock from it. The sound waves are coming across from it. I don't know why, I just felt like mixing it up. So what you can do is you just add thinner strokes coming across from it. So you can add that as well. Oh. So I'm just adding the shadow to the left side of everyone. And then, so you can either use the thin side or you can use the brush side, whichever side you want. So they create a little bit different size, but so it just kind of fills in the space and also just creates a cool effect to it. So if you think about it, since this is a thicker area, if you think of this as a post. If you have a bigger post, it's going to create a thicker shadow, whereas if you have a skinnier post, it's going to create a little bit thinner shadow. So in that thought is for this one, I'm going to make my shadow just a little bit thinner. So it's just ever so slightly there. Oops, that was a little bit thick. It's okay if it's not perfect. And then you can do the same thing where add some shock waves to it. Okay, so then last one. These are going to be a lot thicker than these guys because, oh, did you see that?
I'm not sure.
Made it work. And oh, it's so cool. You can see, so if you guys can see is that I was looking, because I drew so thick, you can see the gradient of where I started to hit harder and then when I released more pressure. So it's just more saturated and it really looks like watercolor. Okay. Last thing. If you want to fill in the spaces, you can add hearts. You can add, oh, it has a little bit of the blue left over because it.
Oh, cool.
You can add suns, have fun. Also in this kit is Imperial purple. So what I just did was I just added little plus signs because it's all of these things added up together create the good in your life. And in this case, the Let's Make Art community.
The positivity.
Oh. That was a good one. Good job, buddy. I like. Okay, you don't need to do too many, but you could just add, no, I don't want to do the middle C. Have fun. Make this your own. That was a lot, and I am so excited. Again, like I said, we've been learning about brush pens for a few months, and I'm just really proud of you guys. I know that learning something new gets really, really frustrating, but by pushing yourself and also sharing with this community, that's why we're here. That's why Let's Make Art is here. We're here for people who are either scared to do it or intimidated, and show that it's okay, it doesn't need to be perfect. All my letters probably aren't perfect, but they mean something to you, and that matters more than a perfect looking end product. So if you'd like to join us, we have a Facebook group called Let's Make Art Lettering. And we're actually, when you're watching this, I just realized we're gonna have a new box, the summer box that'll be coming out. So you can learn about that more later. But continue on learning with us. We have a project every week, every Friday. There's a new lettering tutorial. There's also watercolor, so have fun. Thanks, guys. Bye.